Mega Sceptile makes a return in VGC with a new buff that it gets access to Earth Power in Pokemon Champions, which actually makes it a really strong threat. One of the fastest Mega Evolutions in the game with a base 145 speed stat, access to really strong attacks, especially after the Lightning Rod boost that you can get access to with its ability, can allow it to be able to sweep teams. We're going to be trying it out and seeing how well it can perform. This is my take on the Mega Sceptile Tailwind team that features Choice Scarf Rotom-H as a duo for the Discharge plus Lightning Rod combination, and then maybe a few different changes alongside the partners that you might commonly see. Let's break it down. So first Pokemon we have is going to be the Mega Sceptile, and Mega Sceptile, when it Mega Evolves, does get access to a Dragon typing, so it's Grass Dragon, alongside the Lightning Rod ability, which gives it a +1 special attack boost anytime it's hit by an Electric type move. It doesn't take any damage and can draw away Electric type moves from the targets. So that could be really nice to protect your side from Electric type moves, but also it can affect your allies as well, so something to keep in mind. We do also have access to the Earth Power in Champions because Mega Sceptile did get access to Earth Power, which is really nice because it's a special ground type move that allows it to hit the Steel types, which it did struggle with previously. We have Energy Ball, Dragon Pulse, Earth Power, and Protect in order to be utilized. Its ability is going to be Overgrow because Unburden is useless on a Mega Evolution because you're not getting rid of your Mega Stone. So in case you can't Mega Evolve Sceptile, hey, Overgrow Energy Ball can still hurt, I guess, if it is in that position. EV Spread on the Mega Sceptile, you want to have a lot of speed, and you're pretty much just wanting to go speed because you are able to outspeed Choice Scarf Basket Legion, which is a pretty important factor. It can also outspeed Dragapult as well, and like any of the really fast Pokemon in this format. It's one of the fastest Mega Evolutions, as I said before. It just can't outspeed the Mega Aerodactyl, but it outspeeds pretty much everything below that. And then max special attack because you want this thing to be able to do a ton of damage, and then the rest is going to go into HP. So next Pokemon we have is going to be the Choice Scarf Rotom-H, and Choice Scarf Rotom-H does allow you to outspeed the Mega Aerodactyls and more importantly your own Mega Sceptile, because with the electric coverage you can boost up your Sceptile's Lightning Rod and give it a +1 before the Sceptile follows up with an attack, which is really solid. The Levitate ability does give you a immunity to the ground coverage, which is really solid, and then Overheat with the fire typing on the Rotom-H does allow you to be able to threaten like Mega Metagross immediately. Pokemon that Sceptile might struggle with KOing initially can be really effective, and also a fire and ice switching, which is very pleasant indeed. Discharge, of course, the spread electric type move, which is able to hit the opponent's sides as well as your own ally, which is nice because Sceptile doesn't take damage with the Lightning Rod, and of course a high chance to paralyze potentially, which can be very solid for speed control. Volt Switch, of course, to be able to pivot in and out of there, and Trick we're going to be running as the last move because we might be able to trick some Pokemon, give them a Choice Scarf, and then it could be really nice against some support Pokemon and get rid of items, which can be very valuable. EV Spread wise, this Rotom-H, I think it just wants to do damage. You want to be able to run at least near max speed because you want to be able to outspeed Mega Aerodactyl, which can be important because it does threaten the Sceptile, as I mentioned before, but also, of course, outspeed your own Mega Sceptile. EV Spread on the special attack is just like max because I think you just want to be able to do damage because there are some follow-ups you really want to be able to, especially with like Discharge because it's a weaker move because of the spread damage instead of like a single target. Thunderbolt can be important against Charizard Y, and then the rest is just going to go into HP. Going to help enable the Mega Sceptile, and we'll see how the duo performs. Next Pokemon we have is the Focus Sash Aerodactyl with the Unnerve ability, which is able to prevent the opposing side from consuming their held items, specifically their held item berries, and Rock Slide, Dual Wing Beat, Tailwind, and Protect. Pretty standard Aerodactyl. We're running Dual Wing Beat to be able to help out against the Sneasler, which can be a little bit troublesome in some positions. So having Dual Wing Beat to help out against Sneasler, Focus Sash Whimsicott, I think can be pretty nice. Rock Slide, of course, going to be that coverage, and it helps out against Charizard Y. You want Tailwind for the speed control, and Protect to keep the Aerodactyl around if necessary. The EV Spread is just going to be a simple max speed and max attack when you're running Focus Sash. Not really much of a reason to invest in bulk. So we are just going to go with this Aerodactyl. Going to be nice for matching Tailwind speed control on the opposing side. And again, going to be helpful for being able to overwhelm opponents that don't have Tailwind, which is useful. Next Pokemon we have is going to be the Citrus Berry Clefable, and you might be wondering why Clefable over some of the other fairy types you might see. Well, I like showcasing the Mega Evolution normally, so I think we're just going to stick to one solo Mega in the Sceptile, unlike the Floette, which you can bring. A lot of the standard teams usually have like Floette as well with this team composition. I've seen some Sylveons as well, but I kind of want to try out the Clefable because I think redirection can be pretty nice on a team like this, especially if you have let down the Rotom-H early, your Sceptile's boosted, but maybe it's threatened by priority moves. I do like having access to that Follow Me. It's also really good into like Sword Stance Kingambit, which I do appreciate with that redirection, and Helping Hand could allow the Sceptile to get a knockout, which the opponent might not expect, which I think is pretty helpful. Unaware is a great ability, especially with Clefable too, because of the rise of Staraptor, so you are immune to their defense increases from the contrary close combat. So Unaware, a really nice ability for that, as well as Sword Stance Kingambit, as I mentioned before, so I think it can have a lot of benefits here. Moonblast for the strong fairy coverage, Helping Hand to increase the power of your allies, Follow Me for the redirection and protect. I think it's a pretty decent mon here in this format, and we're going to go with a bold nature on this Clefable with max HP, a good amount of physical defense to get an extra stat point, some special defense to be able to take on like Heat Wave from Charizard Y, Dazzling Gleams from Floettes, and more, and then enough speed to be able to outspeed max speed Garchomp under Tailwind. Next Pokemon we have is going to be the Chople Berry Kingambit, and I have seen the Garchomp on this team composition before, but I never really understood the Garchomp if it was really necessary on this team composition, mainly because you have the ground coverage with the Earth Power from Sceptile, you have the rock coverage with the Aerodactyl. I felt like Garchomp wasn't really as necessary, and you do stack multiple ice weaknesses as well as dragon weaknesses, especially with the Mega Evolution, so I want to try a different route here instead, and I thought like Kingambit could be really helpful because one, having another way to be able to just one-shot opposing Kingambits, especially if they're not the Chople Berry set, if they're running the Black Glass and Sword Sand set, again, can be a little bit terrifying for a Sceptile team, so I do really like having that idea to threaten the low kick, but also a way to actually hit the fairies, because I think that was one problem I did have with the initial build, is it doesn't really be able to outspeed and threaten the fairies with like a Life Orb Garchomp. And I wanted to try out Life Orb Basculegion too, so I did like the idea of having Kingambit, both for the access to priority, which can be useful to clean up weakened foes. The Basculegions, if they're Swift Swim, I think can be a bit annoying, so having Sucker Punch for that is nice, but low kick for the Incineroars, for the Kingambits, Iron Heads for the fairies, that can be a little bit annoying to remove immediately because they have high special defense stats. I think Kingambit can be really nice here to fill out that role. And then this EV spread on the Kingambit is really solid because it's just a lot of attack investment, so you actually do a ton of damage. The HP investment is a good amount, but it's just kind of remainder because you just want the Kingambit to be able to outspeed like Adamant Sneasler, as well as like any of those like modest Mega Frostlasses, including the Eternal Floette, as I mentioned before specifically, and Garchomp's under Tailwind. So I think that can be really, really helpful. And Define, of course, is going to be the ability of choice because, of course, against Incineroar or anything that wants to drop Kingambit stats, we want to punish that and get an attack rise. Final Pokemon on this team is going to be the Life Orb Basculegion, and man, this thing just hits extremely hard with the adaptability, which is able to increase the power of its same type attack moves by even further, and it just does so much damage with that Life Orb Wave Crash, Life Orb Blast Respect, can get some really nutty calcs, and then of course the priority Aqua Jet can be very helpful, and especially with Helping Hand support from Clefable, it can really just allow for some surprise knockouts opponents might not expect. EV spread wise, we're just going with a simple max attack and max speed. Since we're running Life Orb, we're going to go with a frail Basculegion. We want to outspeed stuff. You could go Jolly, I think, on Basculegion, but I think the damage of Adamant Wave Crash just is able to do so much damage, and there's also some times where the Aqua Jet damage can matter with the Life Orb to pick up some knockouts. So I do really like the idea of Life Orb Aqua Jet with an Adamant Nature alongside Sucker Punch from Kingambit. Can be a surprising double up that might catch opponents off guard. It's really powerful, especially with Tailwind offense, able to hit like Floette initially for a lot of damage, good in a Sneasler, which this team can a little bit struggle into, especially if we're adding Kingambit over Garchomp. So you still want a Ghost type that can help out against the Sneaslers, and that's why Basculegion is going to be really good here. So how to use the team? Well, a lot of the team is about setting up the Sceptile if possible. You can set it up for a really strong start at the beginning of the game if they don't have really a counterplay to the Scarf Discharge plus an attack from Sceptile that's able to like double up and usually take a knockout, which is really impactful. Or you can try to set it up for a late game situation. For instance, against Tailwind, you might lead the Aerodactyl because you want to be able to match the Tailwind and be in a pretty effective spot because you want to at least match Tailwind, because Mega Sceptile plus Choice Scarf Rotom-H is usually able to outspeed a majority of the format. So as long as you're able to at least match speed control wise, you'll generally have the faster mons, which is going to be pretty important. So Sceptile plus Rotom-Heat's a great combination, but Aerodactyl is also a really good lead because of that Tailwind option. Usually you want to pair it up with like King Gambit so you can get initial damage off, so you can clean up with Sceptile and Rotom-Heat in the back, or maybe Aerodactyl plus Basket Legion because that Tailwind plus a Life Orb Wave Crash can hit really hard. You also have other different leads you can go for, but usually I would say those are your best ones. King Gambit plus Basket Legion, that Life Orb, Aqua Jet plus the Sucker Punch in priority can get some surprise knockouts. You can also go with like a Clefable lead because if you want that redirection right off the bat, it can be helpful, especially like against Basket Legion and King Gambit that can lead with the Clefable. I think it's really effective where you can just go for redirection and go for some really strong hits, and again try to clean up with Sceptile plus Rotom-Heat in the back, which can be very effective. The idea here is to try and set up the Sceptile and Rotom-Heat if possible, because once you get those two together and gotten rid of the answers to that combination, it's really effective, especially cleaning up weakened foes in an endgame situation, or just building up really solid damage in the early starts of the game, so maybe like King Gambit or Basket Legion can clean up in the remainder. If you'd like to check out the details of the team, you can check them out down below the description, and let us get started and play some games with Mega Sceptile and Rotom-Heat and see how well Mega Sceptile can perform. Alright, we have Pelipper, Archaludon, Basket Legion, Dragonite, Scovillain, and King Gambit. So we got two potential Mega Evolutions in the Dragonite and the Scovillain. Dragonite probably going to be the scarier one. I'm not too concerned about Scovillain at the current moment. Sceptile's not bad in this matchup, but there is the Rain mode, which if it's Swift Swim Basket Legion, it becomes a bit more problematic. Alright. I do really like Sceptile in this game. It's just going to be a bit hard to set it up properly. Clefable is actually really good here because it's great into Dragonite. So what am I deciding on potentially leading here is going to be a good question. I guess like if I lead Sceptile, the Basket Legion isn't too bad, but I do have to watch out about it in an endgame scenario. I do think that I probably will be bringing Sceptile. Rotom-Heat is kind of weird. It's good into Basque. It's like not good into anything else though. So something I'm going to have to keep in mind. I think I'm definitely bringing Clefable in this game. Rotom isn't too bad. I might just lead Rotom Clefable. Even though like against Rain it's a bit awkward, I could still probably play around it. And then I think in the back, Tailwind doesn't seem that useful here because the like Aerodactyl sets up Tailwind and then nothing else really helps out here. So I'm making Clefable in either King Gambit or Basket Legion. I'm leaning towards Bass for the offensive pressure, where if I lose a Mon, Last Respect is going to do so much damage to whatever is remaining. So that's kind of the idea here. I'm not 100% certain because this Rain matchup can be a little bit iffy, mainly because of the Basket Legion and also the Pelipper item, but we'll see. Scovillain Dragonite's an interesting. They led both potential Megas. Okay. As I do lead Sceptile Rotom-Heat. And I actually really like this lead because I don't see a problem Mega Evolving, so I'm not worried about the Scovillain because then I turn into a Dragon type. I don't have to worry about the Fire type move. I can just go for a Dragon Pulse immediately into Dragonite, and I can go for Discharge, and that will actually break the multi-scale into Dragonite, and I don't have to worry about any redirection from the Scovillain because Scovillain doesn't have access to, well, it's a Grass type, it's a Rage Powder, so it doesn't affect the Sceptile. So Discharge is also a spread move, so I don't have to worry about the redirection either. So I don't see a problem with going for the Discharge Dragon Pulse immediately. I guess like they could go for Overheat Protect with Dragonite, but let's see what they decide to go for because it doesn't seem like that great of an idea here, but we are going to see the Scovillain Mega Evolve and not the Dragonite. So I'm very curious on what the turn 1 play is for my opponent because it does. Is it Mega Dragonite? I thought it would be Mega Dragonite, but maybe it's just regular Dragonite. Okay. They do protect Dragonite, which is fair. Okay. Are they trying to put me in extreme speed range or something? I do go for a Discharge here with the Rotom. Maybe I could have Protect Discharge. Protect Discharge might have been better here just to scout. But let's see. We will go for a Discharge. It does get some damage off into Scovillain. Can't burn my Rotom-Heat Eater as we do go for the Dragon Pulse attempt into Dragonite. And we are going to see Flamethrower. Okay, Flamethrower. Does okay damage. It's not going to KO my Sceptile though. Alright. I'm kind of okay with just going for Protect with Sceptile and maybe just going for another Discharge. I think they're going to focus down the Sceptile slot, and I might as well go for Discharge because 1, I can fish for multiple paras, 2, I can scout for the Extreme Speed, which I don't think Extreme Speed is going to knock out my Sceptile, which is pretty huge. And we're going to see a switch out from the Dragonite. Is this into Archaludon? No, Pelipper. I mean, if Pelipper comes in, it's taking a Discharge, so I don't know if my opponent really wants to take that Discharge, but you know what? I guess this could invite the Basky Legion, and then it has Swift Swim Basky Legion, but then I could go for Discharge plus Energy Ball, and that wouldn't be too bad here for me either. We do go for a Discharge. It does bring Pelipper to Sash, but right now, I think we're in a really commanding spot because I don't see a problem with just going for like a Dragon Pulse into Scoville in the next turn and Discharge. If they Wide Guard with Pelipper, it's not that big of a deal, and they Flamethrower the Sceptile, but the thing is, they Flamethrower the Sceptile. However, it was going to be in rain, so it wouldn't have knocked me out. Do they even have Extreme Speed on Dragonite? Is it actually dual Mega? Because if it's special Dragonite, it doesn't have Extreme Speed, my opponent's in a lot of trouble. I don't see a problem with just Dragon Pulsing and going for a Discharge here. It's a super safe play for the most part. It covers like a lot of different options. Focus Sash Pelipper is less likely to run Wide Guard, so I might just be able to get a double knockout potentially here. They could protect Pelipper, but if they protect Pelipper, that's fine. I should be able to knock out Scoville with +2 Dragon Pulse, and yeah, I guess the burn damage can put me in range of Extreme Speed, but I think Sceptile's already kind of put in a lot of work. Like Clefable plus Basky Legion might just be set up for the end game if I can just KO the Scoville and break the multi-scale on the Dragonite. So we do see Wide Guard come out from Pelipper, which is fair, okay. As we do go for a Discharge, which will boost the Sceptile by a bit. Kind of curious on if Basky Legion can knock out Clefable. Because that's going to be a good question. Dragon Pulse is going to come out into Scoville, take the knockout Scoville, so Scovillen's gone. I don't have to worry about the Mega, and I don't have to worry about redirection for my Basky Legion in the back. So goodbye Scoville. Let's see what the last mon is. I have to say it has to be the Basky Legion at this point, or if it's our Chowdon, they just lose the game because I can just click Discharge Earth Power and they don't have a counterplay. It is Basky Legion, which is not too surprising here. And they're probably just going to click Wide Guard and KO the Sceptile with like Last Respect. That would be my guess here. Because if I Discharge, they're in such a terrible spot. Of course, they could read the switch potentially. But I think I will go out on Clefable and just Protect. Because I like the idea of resetting my Rotom-H regardless. Clefable's in a pretty decent spot, I'd say. And I should be able to click Follow Me plus like Energy Ball the next turn potentially. So we are going to see Wide Guard come out, so they are worried about the Discharge. I'm assuming this is an attack in the Sceptile, but they could read the Protect here. They do Last Respect my Sceptile though. Okay, perfect. They made the safe play, and now I'm in a really commanding spot because now I can just go for... I'm pretty sure Dragon Pulse should knock out the Basky Legion. It covers like a lot of switches, so I think I'm just going to go for Dragon Pulse into Bask, and I'm going to click Follow Me. Or should I just Energy Ball? I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure. I'm like pretty sure I can get a Dragon Pulse KO into the Bask here. Bask is going to Protect, which is fine because like what does Pelipper do? I guess Hurricane Confusion would be bad, but like that's the only thing that could be a little bit scary here. And now I pretty much condition them never to switch in the Dragonite because Dragonite getting a free switch isn't ideal. But yeah, now we're going to see Hurricane come out into the Clefable, but I should be able to take this pretty comfortably. Yep. Well, gonna come down to confusion, I guess. We're gonna click Energy Ball into the Basky Legion, and we're gonna click Follow Me. Please don't. Please don't. They needed the Hurricane Confusion. Okay. Let's see. I don't think they're ever going out into Dragonite, because I think if they go into Dragonite, they're still in a weird spot because Clefable still is around on the field. Also, I'm pretty sure they're Swift Swim. If they're Protect, they're not Choice Scarf Adaptability, so I'm assuming it's Swift Swim. And I feel like you do need a Swift Swim Basky Legion in this matchup, otherwise I don't think Choice Scarf Basky Legion's the strongest here, but let's see. Well, they Wave Crash, so that's not too bad, I suppose. The Clefable goes down. I'm okay with this trade. I should KO the Basky Legion, and then I guess it could come down to a few different scenarios here, but granted, I should be good enough. Energy Ball will KO the Basky Legion. It could have been way worse if they clicked Last Respect into the Sceptile. It could have been bad. I wonder Wave Crash would have KO'd. It probably would, I assume, in rain, but it wasn't Life Orb, I suppose. I do think it would KO though. Sceptile has pretty failed defense. It is quad resisted, but I don't think Sceptile's living. Sceptile does go down to Hurricane, which is completely fine. Rain does stop, which is actually beneficial to me. Well, yeah, because if they have Thunder, then this is good for me. I go out into Basky Legion plus Rotom, and now we can go for a lot of different plays. I could go for a trick into my Dragonite or into my Bask if I want to for the Scarf Last Respect, which is an option that I do have. That is something I could consider, or I could just spam Volt Switch. The Pelipper can't really do much because Weather Ball outside of rain doesn't do enough, so maybe I just focus down at the Dragonite. I think the play here is just to always Volt Switch the Dragonite. The question is, what am I doing with Bass? Do I click Aqua Gen to Pelipper? Do I go for Last Respect? So I have quite a few options here. I think I'm just gonna go, or I could Volt Switch to Pelipper if they read like Dragonite Multiscale, which is definitely an option. I think Volt Switch and Protect isn't too bad either, because I think they would focus down the Basket Legion slot, if anything. I don't think Rotom is as big of a threat than Last Respect Basket Legion. So let's see if my opponent gets this right. Pelipper protects. Okay, so they protect Wide Guard, probably not Tailwind. Okay. And if they go for a Tailwind with Dragonite, that's okay as well. I don't think they can knock out Rotom here regardless, so that's alright. Stone Edge. Well, that's a lucky dodge. What can I say? That's a lucky dodge. I'm very surprised that they left the Basket Legion open, but I guess like it doesn't seem like they have a move that can knock out the Basque. So I can go for Last Respect here. And we'll see. Okay. They're going to go for a double. I don't think the double truly matters, but it kind of depends. This is Last Respect from Life Orb Basket Legion. Maybe I should just went for Last Respect, because now that I think about it, this is Life Orb Last Respect from Basket Legion. It should KO the Dragonite, and I actually outsped, so Last Respect. Even with Multiscale, I'm actually surprised the Dragonite took that as well as I thought. I thought it would be lower, but that does work out for me. Stone Edge is going to come out into the Rotom and does take the knockout. So it could have been a scary endgame. It could have been Hurricane stuff. It could have been like moves hitting. It depends on the Dragonite set, but we will take the win here. So I will take that. Last Respect will finish off the Dragonite. I do think that maybe I could have played a bit more aggressive here. I think if I just click Last Respect into Dragonite, it would have been better. Also, we do confirm it's not like max speed Adamant or modest Dragonite. I mean, it's probably going to be Adamant if it is going to be that much investment with Stone Edge, but definitely not the Dragonite set I was expecting to be brought in this matchup, but you know what? We will take it. Life or Basket Legion doesn't really matter in this case. Maybe I could have went for, again, Volt Switch. Maybe Volt Switch, I think Aqua Jet was a bit better of a play there. I think Volt Switch Aqua Jet was a bit better play. I was a bit worried about, like, Thunder from Dragonite, but I would have had to call that regardless. Alright, we have Incineroar, Rotom Wash, Mamoswine, Golden Gold, Delphox, and Aerodactyl. So we got two potential Megas with Delphox and Aerodactyl. My Sceptile is faster than the Delphox, which is nice. But it also has to really worry about Ice Shard from Mamoswine, which is going to be a concerning one here. I'm also not faster than the Aerodactyl, yet Rotom Heat is. Rotom Heat is actually pretty good against my opponent's team. Overheat for the Golden Go and Mamoswine. I also do threaten a Volt Switch into Aerodactyl, so it's a pretty good bring here. The question is, what am I leading? I think I could probably get away with like Rotom plus Basket Legion. I think it's probably an alright lead here. I think Rotom plus Basque is pretty solid. I do like Clefable in this matchup because redirection is just really nice for the Mamoswine. I could also just lead Rotom plus Sceptile because I do have access to the Discharge plus an attack. It's a lot weaker though if they lead like something like Aerodactyl Mamoswine. But I guess if they lead that, they're really weak to Basque, so I'm not 100% certain. I think I'll just lead Sceptile Rotom and just see how it plays. And then I'll bring in the back Clefable Basket Legion. I think Basket Legion Aqua Jet is just way too good to pass up in this matchup. Life Orb Aqua Jet should do a lot to Delphox. I actually don't know if it would one-shot Delphox. Probably not. Maybe just like barely missing the knockout. So if I get any chip, that would be pretty impactful. But let's see what my opponent's going to decide to lead here. Going to be Rotom and Incineroar. So I don't mind this as a lead because Sceptile is actually a pretty good lead into this team. Even though Rotom Heat's kind of threatened by Fake Out Hydro Pump, I think this is pretty alright here. I could go for an attack here. I could go for Volt Switch. I just don't know if they fake out the Rotom. I think they would fake out the Sceptile, if anything. So I could go for Volt Switch into Rotom to put in range of an attack here. Or do I just go for an Energy Ball? A lot of options. I think I just go Clefable hard into Clefable and we go for a... Did I protect? I do protect. The question, I guess I Mega Evolve here because there's no reason not to Mega Evolve with Sceptile in this game. Yeah, there's no reason not to just Mega Evolve turn 1. It also covers for electric moves later on if I decide to switch out. Okay. Feeling that this is an alright spot, but I guess the question is now against the Incineroar. I'm not really too worried about the Rotom because I can always focus it down later with Helping Hand Energy Ball or Factor. I don't know if Helping Hand Earth Power would KO the Incineroar. We do see Fake Out comes out. It does target Sceptile, so I could have went for a Volt Switch. I could have been greedy, but that's fine. They do go for a Hydro Pump into the Clefable, and Clefable just absolutely eats that. Like, no question about it. So, not too bad for me. I can go for Helping Hand. I can go for Follow Me. I got like a lot of options here. Helping Hand Earth Power looks really powerful. Because my opponent doesn't have a switch other than Aerodactyl, and I could go for Helping Hand Dragon Pulse instead. I think Rotom is in a weird spot. I could see a retreat into like Delphox or Gold, but I don't really have to worry about that currently at the moment. I think we go for Helping Hand plus Earth Power into Incineroar. Actually, no, I should keep Helping Hand as a surprise. Like, I think I just Follow Me and I go for Earth Power because I don't want Parting Shot happening to my Sceptile either. And if they protect Rotom, this is perfect because I get free Earth Power damage into Incineroar. So this is pretty nice as one, we could burn a Shuckle Berry potentially. I get a lot of damage. If they Flare Blitz, that's completely fine. So here comes an Earth Power going to come out into the Incineroar. Pretty good damage. Pretty good damage. Yeah, Helping Hand wasn't going to get the knockout, which is not surprising. And we're going to see Parting Shot. So Clefable at -1 special attack is really not a concern. I will gladly take that. All right, let's see who they decide to bring out. Because if it's like Mamoswine, I could just Follow Me plus Energy Ball. If it's Gold, I could go for Helping Hand Earth Power if I really, really want to. Or I could go in a Rotom Heat. Do I think Helping Hand Earth Power would KO Golden Go? I think not. I wonder if last mon's Mamoswine or if it's Aerodactyl back. I think the play is to go Rotom. I don't even think a Make It Rain KO Sceptile realistically. So maybe I could Energy Ball to Rotom. Or I could Earth Power to Gold. You know what? I'm going to Earth Power to Gold. I'm going to get damage into Gold. I was trying to call a double out here, but that doesn't work out for me. Rotom comes in. Okay, this could get a little bit ugly, I guess. We do go for the Earth Power into Golden Go. Oh, Helping Hand Earth Power was KOing. Shoot. Did they Nasty Plot? They Make It Rain, so I should live with Sceptile. Yeah, I do live, but I do lose Rotom, which isn't pleasant. But I could still win even without the Rotom Heat here, because I already got damage into... Oh, they Hydro Pumped the Sceptile. What? It doesn't KO. That is a very surprising play, but it works out for me. That was a crit Hydro Pump too. Okay, I thought they were going to double the... I guess like if you expect Make It Rain to KO the Clef, but I feel like you try to pin the Clef slot. Okay, that works out for me pretty well here. Because now, I did expect to live Golden Go as long as it wasn't Life Orb. I didn't think it was Life Orb based on the team. Now I can just go for Discharge plus Energy Ball and get the +1 with my Sceptile, so I can guarantee knock out something. They retreat Golden Go, and if this is Incineroar, that's completely fine. Because even if they protect Rotom, I got the special attack boost in order to KO the Rotom in the following turns. And I'm not really too concerned about this moment. Yeah, so I do get a Discharge off, which is really nice here. And Energy Ball will be able to threaten the Rotom. And I'm trying to figure out their last Pokemon. I guess it's probably Arrow, but if it's Arrow, I feel like I win once I get rid of Rotom. Because Incineroar is in range of Aqua Jet, Golden goes in range of Aqua Jet, and I'm pretty sure Arrow is dropping the Helping Hand Aqua Jet, so I feel pretty good against this, but let's see. Last Pokemon has to be like Aerodactyl. Okay, Golden Go coming in, which is not what my opponent wants to see here. Because I just spam Discharge pretty easily. I could protect Sceptile, or I could attack here. Do I need Sceptile to win the end game? I realistically don't. Everything is weak to Basculegion. So I think my best play here is just to go for an Earth Power into the Golden Go slot. Because they might fake out my Rotom Heat. They have to make an aggressive play, I think. They do just fake out the Sceptile, but that's fine. Sceptile basically did his job when I got a lot of damage onto their team and KO'd the Rotom Wash. So Discharge should KO the Golden Go. We saw how much Earth Power did. It actually takes the double knockout. It crits the Incineroar, which is unfortunate for my opponent, but realistically, I don't think it truly matters in the end game. I didn't really see a way my opponent was going to be able to win this. And now I can just go out and Basculegion. Basculegion pretty much just has this game sealed up. Because, like, what do you bring out here that actually is a counter here? So we bring out Basculegion, and they are going to bring out the Mamoswine. Yeah, it's like Mamoswine. I'm kind of surprised Mamoswine wasn't brought out earlier for Ice Shard into the Sceptile, but maybe it's like Scarf Mamo. That could definitely be an option. I think I'm just going to go in a Clefable and just protect the Basculegion. This should guarantee to win here, because then I could go for, like, Aqua Jet into the Mamo. If their choice... Like, the thing is, my Rotom is faster than the Mamo, so I should be good here. if it's not Choice Scarf. And if it's Choice Scarf Mamoswine, actually no, I outspeed Scarf Mamoswine even because I'm max speed on the Rotom. They go for Crash and a Bass to hope for, I guess, a flinch. Okay. But now I just click Moonblast plus Aqua Jet, and I guarantee to win. Because Moonblast and Aqua Jet will KO Focus Sash. If it is Scarf, it doesn't really matter to me because I still get Aqua Jet plus Moonblast damage off. There's like nothing that they can do to win. So I do get the Aqua Jet off into Mamoswine. Beautiful. Take the Life Orb chip, and let's see what they win for Earthquake. Yeah, I was thinking like maybe they had to like double Earthquake crit here, but I don't think that knocks out Clef. Yeah. Maybe it was close, but regardless, like, the thing is they weren't Scar, so I still had Rotom with Overheat potential. Like, they had to get, like, double crit here, maybe it KOs both, and then dodge Overheat the following turn, which were odds that I was willing to take there. So we do take the win. Beautiful. I think the start was pretty okay. I think maybe I could have got the KO and a gold, which would have been more helpful with helping an Earth Power, but I underestimate Sceptile a bit. Alright, we have the Eternal Floette, Sinistcha, Incineroar, Sneasler, Delphox, and King Gambit. So we got two potential megas with Delphox and Floette. This team has been pretty popular as of recent. It should be like the Source and Glasses King Gambit. This was popular in the VGC MA format, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's just like the same thing for this. The Sneasler usually runs Quick Guard on this team, if I'm not mistaken. So what are we doing here? I think this matchup's like strange. It's like fine, but it's not like amazing here. The King Gambit's going to be a bit of a problem. The Sneasler's kind of annoying. Yeah, we're going to have some trouble times ahead. But what am I doing here? Rotom's okay, but it's not necessary. I like King Gambit and Bask a lot in the matchup. I think the answer is just lead King Gambit Basket Legion. It's a bit of a weird lead, but like against a lot of what my opponent can bring, this lead is really effective against my opponent's team. And then I think in the back, I want Aerodactyl because I'm more worried about Floette than I am about Delphox. I think Floette is really tough for my team. And then I think in the back, I go with Sceptile because I want a Mon that outspeeds a lot of my opponent's team. I could see Clef being argued for because I think Clef is not too bad, but I'll try the Sceptile out. I don't really like Rotom too much in this matchup because sure, I could go for Discharge and there's not really the best switch in, but I'm really worried about like Calm Mind Floette. And if I leave that thing a bit unchecked, it becomes very problematic. So we're going to see Floette Sneasler. Okay, good lead on my opponent's part. But I mean, I do have the Basket Legion, which is threatening a lot of damage here. So I have a few options that I can go for. I think I could go for Life Orb Wave Crash to just nuke the Floette immediately, which is not a bad option here. If I nuke Floette, the game becomes a lot easier. I could go an Aerodactyl here. I'm debating about going Aerodactyl for the King Gambit slot and potentially just going for the Life Orb Wave Crash immediately. Because unless the Floette has Light of Ruin, it doesn't kill my Bask. So I think that's worth it. Alright, let's see what they decide to do here. I'm going to go Aerodactyl. There's like a few plays that they could go for that could get a little bit ugly. Like double up my Basket Legion with Dire Claw plus the Moonblast immediately would not be a pretty one. But I'm kind of curious on what they decide here because I think King Gambit's threatening, but I also think Bask is threatening as well. Let's see. They did close combat immediately. My arrow, that's fine. Did they Dazzle? Did they Moonblast? I think this is probably Moonblast. Poison Touch is like the one thing I was concerned about though. Okay. That is really greedy. I think Calm Mind is really greedy. I think Floette goes down to this, if I'm not mistaken. Here comes Wave Crash. Yeah. That was really greedy. The reason I let King Gambit Basket Legion is it covered Instant, because if they led like Instant Floette, I could switch out the Bask and the Arrow and then threaten Tailwind Ironhead the following turn. So that's why I decided to lead this combo. Losing the Arrow kind of stinks there, but now I do have options. I can go out into King Gambit or Sceptile. I think I'm going to go on the Sceptile first. Let's see what they decide to go out into. King Gambit, that makes sense. I'm not too worried about King Gambit with low kick on mine, and the Sneaslers don't usually carry Protect on this team. So I'm kind of willing to just go for an Earth Power into the Sneasler and an Aqua Jet into the Sneasler, hoping that they just try to go for like Poison Jab plus like Kowtow for a knock on the Bask. If I KO the Sneasler, my King Gambit just runs wild, I think, in the end game. So let's see if I get this right or not. We will get the Sceptile Mega Evolved, and it is faster than the Sneasler, and we know it's not unburdened. So nice, we do get an Aqua Jet off into the Sneasler. It also avoids Sucker Punch from the Basque if they go for it, but perfect. And nice, we do get the Earth Power KO into Sneasler. So Sneasler goes down, and like maybe King Gambit goes for Sword Stance, but I think this is a pretty good trade-off here. I should be in a pretty comfortable spot, but we'll never see. Okay, Kowtow Cleave into the Basque. We'll take the knockout, sure. Endgame could get a bit spooky. It's Life Orb Gambit. Is it not Sword Stance? That's a new one. Alright. Incineroar coming in is not too surprising, but they'll give me a Defiant boost, which is really pleasant here. And now I can threaten Low Kick into a Earth Power. Well, they're never Sword Stancing in this position. I think they always fake out my Gambit. Maybe I just go for a Low Kick into the Incin. I think the question is, does the Gambit go for Kowtow into Sceptile, or does it not? I think I live Life Orb Sucker Punch, but I think I go down to Life Orb Kowtow, which is a problem. Let's see. They fake out Gambit, which is not too surprising. Did they Kowtow for the chip? I'm faster. Yeah, okay, they Kowtow to Sceptile. So I did get to play it right, technically. Now it's a bit questionable, but still I should be alright. I think I'm going to go for the double up into the Incineroar slot. Because if the Incineroar is slower than my Gambit, I should be in a game-winning spot. But let's see. They go for Sucker Punch into Gambit because they're trying to put me in Flare Blitz range. I'm kind of curious if Flare Blitz actually KOs my Gambit at this range. I'm not 100% certain. Okay. Earth Power going to come out into the Incin. That looks like a loss but def. My Gambit has a lot of speed, so let's see. Okay, yeah, I outspeed. I get the low kick off. I do KO the Incin. That's kind of what I thought, because I thought like the Incins usually run a lot of bulk on this team, and I do have a faster Gambit. So that does win me the game because I can low kick the King Gambit in the end game. So bit greedy on my opponent's part at the beginning, but it definitely paid off for me as I was able to get an okay spot, even if I lost my arrow. All right, we have Sceptile, Rotom-H, the Basque Legion, Aerodactyl, Garchomp, and the Eternal Floette. So we have a Sceptile mirror. I'm not sure if we're going to see that Sceptile mirror, but very interesting indeed. Okay. So I think the biggest threat is going to be the Floette. The Floette's definitely very concerning here. All right, how do I want to approach this? Unaware Clefable is really good against this team because I should live a double up from Rotom-H plus Sceptile combination. And I do have Helping Hand Aqua Jet that could probably threaten to knock on the Rotom-H. I don't think they're Mega Arrow usually on this team. Floette is definitely a concerning mon if I don't prepare for it well. So something I'm going to have to keep in mind. I do like Clefable plus Basque Legion, though. It should be pretty good against this team. I do like Sceptile, and then the question is, what is my final Pokemon? Is it going to be the Rotom-H? Is it going to be the Arrow to match Tailwind? Because I don't think I need to go for a Tailwind route here. Sceptile should just outspeed everything, and I'm not really worried about their Sceptile. I'm kind of more expecting to Floette against my team. Or do I bring King Gambit because Sucker Punch can be really good against like Basque Legion and more? That's tough to say. I think Rotom-H because it's just a switch into a few attacks. Like it's a pretty good switch in into like their Rotom-H. It's not bad in the Sceptile as a switch in. Good in the Garchomp Earthquake and good in the Floette. So I think that's probably the reasoning. I could have definitely seen my King Gambit be like Sucker Punch good endgame wise, but I'm pretty sure the Bass usually on this team are like bulky citrus, so I don't have to worry about it. So let's see. Floette Aerodactyl, yeah, I kind of expected this. Okay, perfect. As we lead Clefable plus the Basque Legion. All right. Quite a few different plays I could go for. Rock Slide, Moonblast, Light of Ruin immediately. There is quite a bit that could go on. I think they would target the Bass though. I could go for, I think Moonblast and a Floette isn't too bad and protect the Basque turn one if I expect like Light of Ruin into the Bask, or they go for a Dazzling Gleam. I'm a bit worried about Dazzling Gleam Rock Slide. That's the only downside to this combo is that will affect me because of potential Rock Slide flinch, but let's see what they decide to go for here. I think I live Rock Slide plus Moonblast, but we'll see. Protect the Bask. They do just Rock Slide immediately. Okay, so we're going to be rolling a bit. If I dodge this one, I'm in a really good spot, though. They went for Dazzle. Okay, that's best case. Please. Please, Clef. Clef. Ugh, that's so bad. Oh, that's so bad. Well, I think that loses me the game, unironically. All right. We're going to go for Helping Hand Aqua Jet and pray for a crit, I suppose, in the Floette. Maybe that can get me back into the game. But if I got the Moonblast off, Aqua Jet was definitely KOing the Floette. So that's unfortunate here. Yeah. Like Helping Hand, Aqua Jet would have KO'd the Floette. And I wouldn't have had to worry about another Rock Slide. That's the only problem with this. But like, what did I want to do? Did I really want to click Aerodactyl Speed Ties? I don't think so. I mean, Bass survived, so maybe I have something in mind. But yeah, it's still not looking hot here. I have to go Rotom probably. Can I win with Rotom? Potentially. Rotom plus Sceptile maybe can win. Unfortunately, Discharge doesn't KO the Floette. At least I don't think it does. I could Discharge Protect, or I could Volt out, but I don't think any of those are worth it. I think we just click Discharge. I think I have to deny Arrow from getting tailwind. I think I have to Discharge Aqua Jet the Arrow. They make a smart play and switch out, though. Okay. Garchomp. Protect Float would be okay here. Okay. Protect Float isn't bad for me, I suppose. I guess it depends on the Garchomp set. I get an Aqua Jet off in the Garchomp. Do I have to hope that Discharge just KOs the Floette at this range? It shouldn't be any bulk on the Floette, but I just really don't think Discharge would KO the Floette here. My last mon should probably be Basket Legion if that's the case. I get to go in a Sceptile and I get to go for Discharge. I guess I could Discharge Energy Ball to Garchomp or the Floette slot in case I don't pick up the knockout into the Floette. The problem is Garchomp gets in a... Oh, wait, no. They can knock on my Sceptile. Actually, I do have a play here, theoretically. I could protect a Sceptile and Discharge. Because I don't think they're going to target my Rotom slot. I think they're going to Dragon Claw plus, like, Dazzling Gleam or Moonblast my Sceptile. So if that's the case, I can get the Discharge damage. It shouldn't KO the Floette. And then I could set up a position into Garchomp the next turn. So I like that a bit better. I think I'm going to try for that. Because I don't think they're clicking Rock Slide here. And if they protect Garchomp, that's even better. Because next turn I pin with Discharge plus Dragon Pulse, and I should get a potential double knockout. So that's actually good for me. Okay. Yeah, I barely missed a knockout Floette, which is what I thought. They Light of Ruin my Sceptile. Interesting choice over like Moonblast, but... Okay, now we can go for Discharge, and we can go for Dragon Pulse, I suppose. Yeah, Dragon Pulse is safe. It covers every switch. So we go for Discharge Dragon Pulse here. They're going to protect Floette probably and attack with Garchomp. And then I think it's going to come down to basically... Actually, they shouldn't protect here, right? I don't think they should protect with Floette. Because if they protect with Floette... I guess they could protect Floette theoretically. But then I could just Discharge Energy Ball Arrow the next turn or whatever's in the back. So I feel like maybe this is an okay spot. But I'm not 100% sure how the end game is because it just really depends on A, if the arrow has Wide Guard. If the arrow has Wide Guard, we're in trouble. Discharge. Okay, they give me both Pokemon. That's all right. That's good. And then it's going to come down to the Bask as well as the arrow. So I do get the knockout Floette. I think it's usually bulky on the Bask. I get rid of the Garchomp. The question is, I have to read a Protect. Because it's probably Aero Basket Legion. If it's Rotom, I should be fine for the win here. Yeah, it's Basket Legion. That's what I thought. Aquajet doesn't KO my Rotom here. So all I need to figure out is, does Discharge... Discharge is always what I'm locking in. The question is, what am I energy balling? I'm either energy balling the Bask or I'm energy balling the Arrow. They could protect Tailwind, so then Basket Legion can last respect in the end game. Or they could predict Arrow, reading the double up, and then I'm in trouble. So I kind of have to get a call right here. Because if they protect Arrow and last respect, or like even just Wave Crash or Liquidation, I probably lose the game. So I have to get a call right. I'm going to go for the Arrow, I think. Oh, they clicked Wide Guard. Oh, then I lose guaranteed. I need to energy ball the Bask. Although I don't know if the Bask was potential, what's it called, Sash, or if it was Scarf or Citrus. I think like every Bask I've seen on this kind of build has had Citrus, but that's a bit unfortunate. Wait, they wave crashed. Wait, that gives me an out. Okay. I'm surprised they didn't last respect, but that works. Okay. I need to dodge dual wing beat with my Sceptile because they're probably gonna... Actually, do they even have dual wing beat? I don't know. I want to energy ball to Bask. Because if they don't have dual wing beat, they lose. So I do get the energy ball into the Bask, and I do take the knockout. Okay. Also, if it's Wave Crash, it probably isn't Sash. So if I just energy balled the Bask, I was just worried about Protect Tailwind. They do Tailwind. It just comes on the last move. I have no idea. Did we see Protect on the Arrow in the earlier part? I can't remember. No, it just clicked Rock Slide immediately, right? Like it just kept spamming Rock Slide, I'm pretty sure, so I don't know. It is dual wing beat, okay. My best play is to always go for a triple protect because it maximizes my odds. The reason I always go for triple protect is because if I get the triple protect, I do win because I still have the tailwind, but also because if they miss dual wing beat and let's say I fail to double protect here, they dual wing beat and miss, then it's like, okay, I can protect on the final turn tailwind and I still win. So it's always triple protect here. That maximizes the odds for my best chance. Okay, we're gonna need dual wing beats to miss. Unless I live this, but I kind of doubt it. Yeah. All right. So if I went for Energy Ball into the Basket Legion, it was a win, but I think it's just like a call. I wasn't 100% certain if this Arrow carries Wide Guard. I don't know if they carry Wide Guard always on this Arrow team, but yeah, I wasn't 100% certain and unfortunately got a bit punished for it. All right, we have the Frostlass, Scovillain, King Gambit, Sneasler, Lycanroc, and Basket Legion. This is a team that was able to get top 8 and do well at the Turin special event. It also got top 8 at NIC in MA. Let's see how it goes in this format because realistically, Frostlass is kind of a threat. That mon's not easy to handle. Okay. And then we have a bunch of priority, which is not easy for my team. All right, this is going to be difficult. They also have Gunk Shot on the Sneasler, which means Clefable goes down instantly to it. Okay. I don't really love the Arrow here, and I don't really need Arrow in this game. I think Rotom is pretty good. I think Sceptile is not terrible of a lead here. I think I just lead Rotom, Sceptile. I think Rotom, Sceptile is probably alright. The question is, am I bringing Bask or am I bringing King Gambit? Because I think Clefable is just too good to pass up. The redirection is really nice here. I'm kind of leaning towards Clefable, King Gambit. I'm just really, really weak to Sneasler, but I think if they bring Sneasler, probably as a lead, so I could probably focus down on it. I think that's probably better. Like, Bask is still pretty good because Life or Blast, Respect, and Aqua is solid, but I'm not 100% certain. I think both are really good, though. I just thought King Gambit was a little bit better. Actually, I should have probably brought the Bask because this is not like a fast Basket Legion unless they change the team. I think Bask was probably faster than theirs, realistically. Okay, they elite Sneeze or Frostlass, which is not ideal, I'd say, but like it's okay. Do they Aurora Veil or do they Blizzard immediately? I realistically don't need Sceptile for that much in this game, so I think it's probably okay to just throw off an Overheat and a Earth Power. Yeah, I'm going to overheat and I'm going to throw off an Earth Power. Because if they fake out the Rotom, I get the Earth Power into Sneasler. And I think that's huge. And if they don't fake out, overheat probably nukes the Frostlass, I imagine. So I think that's worth willing to go for here. So let's see what they decide to do. I'm assuming it's fake out here. I am assuming it's fake out. I don't think they close combat and I don't think they gunk shot this turn. Okay, Frostlass. Snow warning. They do fake out the Rotom, that makes sense. Did they Aurora Veil or did they Blizzard? I think probably Aurora Veil, but let's see. I really need the damage into the Sneasler. Yeah, good damage. Yeah, okay. That's what I thought. Because like, let's say I protect Sceptile and they Blizzard, then they're in a really awful spot because then I could just discharge Earth Power through their team. Now I can do that, but I also have other things in mind that I can go for as well. Is Discharge the play here? I think it is. I think we're always spamming Discharge here. The question is, what am I doing with Sceptile? Do I just attack here? I think I just build up the damage. I think I'm just going to go for Discharge and Protect. Because there might be a Sneasler Protect here and Frostlass attempt attack. Oh, they protect Frostlass. Interesting. Okay. I guess they're scouting for what Rotom was locking into, but as I said before, getting rid of Sneasler was a big priority because once I get rid of Sneasler, it's a lot easier to win this endgame. So I get rid of Sneasler, that's huge. I'm kind of curious if Discharge into Earth Power could KO Gambit, but do I need to get rid of Gambit? Like, if it's the Swords Dance set, my King Gambit beats it on its own. Yeah, so we see Gambit come in. I think this is just Discharge and Energy Ball to Frostlass. Yeah, I don't really need to damage into King Gambit, I think, after I get the Discharge, since it should be in low kick range. Oh, maybe I did. That did less than I thought, actually. We do get an Energy Ball off into Frostlass. It's good damage, okay. As they go for Blizzard, knock out my Sceptile. Again, if they take the double knockout, that's fine. I think as long as I have Clef next to King Gambit, I should be good, but we'll see. Sceptile goes down. And they Swords Dance, which is fine. Okay. I guess the question is what the final mon is. I don't think it's Scovillain. Probably Basque Legion, I would say. I think I needed a little bit more chip into the Frostlass initially. I think I always go Clef here. Because I can protect Discharge or I could swap. I think swapping into King Gambit's completely fine. And we're going to go for... How many turns of Aurora Veil are left? 2, right? Yeah, 2. Okay. I don't think I want to knock out the Frostlass this turn. I think I just Moonblast a Gambit. And the reason I Moonblast a Gambit is to put in range of low kick and potentially maybe score a double knockout the following turn. I just want to stall out this Veil turn so I can start sniping the Basque Legion when Veil is over. And yeah, if they protect here, I'm in a fantastic shape. Just don't be random Ironhead King Gambit here, please. It should be like Kowtow into Gambit, I assume. Good damage. Nice. Did a bit more than I thought, but like this is still acceptable. Okay. I guess I could Sucker Punch here, which is a little bit annoying. But I could also follow me with Clef, so I don't know if they would ever Sucker Punch here. I think I just Moonblast the Frostlass and I go for low kick. Yeah, they didn't Sucker Punch. Beautiful. So Blizzard comes out. I should be good here. Nice. Low kick into Gambit. Does take the knockout. That's what I thought at that range. And then Moonblast KOs the Frostlass. And then against Basque Legion, I should have the game guaranteed sealed. Because against Basque Legion, we just click Kowtow, follow me. If they go out into the... If they go out into Lycanroc, I just win by clicking Sucker Punch Moonblast. And then I also have Scarf Rotom in the back, and Clefable will live attacks from the Lycanroc. So nice. Really great. Get rid of Sneasler, as I said before. Perfect position. Alright, we have Venusaur, Sneasler, Garchomp, Sylveon, Aerodactyl, and Charizard. Alright, we have... An okay matchup. I'm not the biggest fan of dealing with Venusaur. It's never really super fun to deal with, but like, I guess this is kind of playable. Aerodactyl's good. The Venu I'm a bit weak to. That's my concern. The Venusaur I am weak to. I think I always bring Rotom-H Aerodactyl. Always. They're really good into this team. And then I think in the back, this is where I'm going to struggle a bit because I'm not sure what I bring in the back. I think it's King Gambit, even though I don't even like Gambit. Maybe it's not Gambit. Because like I already have a tough time against Sneasler. Maybe I need Basque. Oh, the combination of Venusaur Sneasler is like not one you see often, and like it's really bad for me here. Because of the fact that Sneasler pretty much puts on a lot of offensive pressure against my team, and I don't have the immediate ways of removing it quickly. Probably like Sceptile and... Okay, wait, no. I did keep dual wing bit on the arrow, so I actually do have answers. I think I'm bringing Gambit. The Sneasler is the biggest problem. Like, Sneasler is going to be a big problem, but I want King Gambit because it makes my life easier against Sylveon without having to sacrifice early in the game. Let's see what we're going to see here, but Venu, Charizard, 11 win streak, going to be tough. Okay, they did lead Arrow plus Sylveon, so this is okay here for me, as I do lead Rotom plus the Aerodactyl. Okay. Their max speed, this is fine. I can go for a Volt Switch into the Arrow, and I can go for Tailwind. They could go for Rock Slide Hyper Voice, that's alright. And if they go for Wide Guard, this is actually perfect. Because I get the Volt Switch off, bring in King Gambit, then next turn I can dual Wing Beat Iron Head. So this is actually pretty good for me. As Arrow is down, it's not brought to Sash, but that's fine. So they were probably reading like, maybe like, I don't know, maybe Rock Slide plus an attack there, but it works out for me. I get to go King Gambit, and then I threaten Iron Head, as I said before. So this is pretty good. So we get Tailwind up with our Arrow. And they're going to go for Hyper Voice. Yep. I'm not in quick attack range, it looks like, so I should be able to get an Iron Head pretty safely off into Sylveon. And we go for a dual Wing Beat into the Aerodactyl because it covers a Wide Guard here. It also covers like Sneasler coming in for the Aerodactyl slot, which is really good for me if I get rid of the Sneasler. So that's pretty good. Only mon it doesn't cover for is Garchomp. But we are going to see Sylveon retreat into Garchomp. That's fine, because I get Iron Head damage, which is still pretty good. They tried to protect, but it's a double protect attempt because of the Wide Guard, so that works out beautifully for me. I do get to do a Wing Beat off in the Arrow, so Arrow gone. They don't get Tailwind up, which is fantastic. And I get some pretty good damage into the Garchomp. So, really good start. I'm curious, probably last mon you want to assume is Charizard, which means they're probably forced to bring Sylveon back out again. Very solid damage into the Garchomp, okay. This is nowhere near over, though, because I might have to get a call on this if Sylveon's protecting or not. Oh, they brought out Charizard. What? Do I go for Iron Head or do I go for Kowtow here? I think the Rock Slide damage might allow Kowtow to pick up the knockout in the Garchomp. So I think it's always just Rock Slide Kowtow here. Even if they protect, I also have a flinch chance on the Garchomp. I guess I could have went for Rock Slide Iron Head because I doubles the flinch chance, but I also might just KO the Garchomp here with Rock Slide. Alright, Kowtow. I should have went for Iron Head, I suppose, but like, let's see. Okay. Dragon Claw to take the knockout onto the Arrow. That makes sense. Life Orb Garchomp. Okay, so it goes down in one hit. Man, that's kind of annoying because even if I didn't kill with rocks, like trading for the Chomp would have been good. All right, what am I doing here? Sceptile or Rotom? If I go Rotom, I could Volt Switch, but that's terrible. I can't Discharge. I think I'm forced to go Sceptile here. Yeah, I'm forced to go Sceptile. I think my best play here is to Kowtow the Charizard and protect my Sceptile. And the reason I think that is because then I can stack Discharge Boost to try and KO the Sylveon. The only thing I'm worried about is if Kowtow into Discharge KOs Charizard, because Charizard could be really bulky. And it has a really high special defense stat. I think Discharge should KO. I'm assuming Kowtow will do like 50-ish%. And then the Discharge should be enough to KO afterwards from max special attack Rotom. And then I can stack boost to try and KO the Sylveon later. That's kind of the idea here. We get the Kowtow off. And I can't afford to take damage on Sceptile. Oh. That's unironically bad for me. Wait, that's unironically bad for me that I crit. You might be thinking, wait, why isn't that good for you? The reason is I want to set up a position where I could get a double knockout potentially. Now I'm actually in trouble. Oh man, this is bad. Actually, is it? Oh no, wait, no, the Garchomp faints to its own life orb. Okay. I mean, the thing is, since the Garchomp clicked Earthquake and their life orb, they were going to outspeed the Charizard, so I guess it doesn't change too much because I would still spam Discharge plus Energy Ball, but yeah, like I guess it doesn't change anything. Because they knocked themselves out to their own recoil, I suppose, that it balanced it out, but that could have been really bad. Alright, we have Tyranitar, Excadrill, Hydreigon, Mimikyu, Incineroar, and Corviknight. So interesting, it usually has Rotom-Wash over Incineroar, but an interesting sand composition, which... Sand is not easy for this team. We don't have the best ways of breaking through it immediately. The Corviknight's not too bad. We have Rotom-Heat, but there is, of course, like the Tyranitar Excadrill mode, which, I mean, we do have double priority for, I guess. Yeah, we do have double priority for. I guess no Clefable in this matchup. I think Kingambit Basque is probably fine to be brought out here and then go with Sceptile plus Rotom. Yeah, this is going to be a tricky one. Hydreigon. If it's Scarf Hydreigon, we're in trouble with what I'm bringing. But I think I'm kind of forced to bring it. I think like a lot of Hydreigons ended up switching to like Habanberry on this kind of build, which would help me a lot here. But yeah, I can't really bring Clefable into this because Clefable doesn't really do much other than into Hydreigon. But I just got to hope that Sceptile can outspeed. I need Rotom for the Corviknight. I'm going to see Tyranitar Hydreigon. Okay, that's kind of weird here for me position-wise. I do have Chople Berry, so unless they double up the Gambit, I should be in an okay spot. I guess what I could do is just Sucker Punch or I could low kick the Hydreigon, click Protect with Basque, and that's not a terrible play here, because unless they hard read and double up the King Gambit slot, I should be fine since I do have Chople Berry. Low kick from Tyranitar won't take the knockout. Then I'm assuming low kick puts the Hydreigon into range of Sucker Punch, and then I could Wave Crash threaten the KO onto Tyranitar. So that's kind of my goal here. So we'll protect our Basket Legion turn 1. Heat Wave. Unless they Heat Wave knocked off, but this is not looking like a great start. Also, Heat Wave probably should confirm Scarf then, which is bad for me. Oh, they did click knockoff. Okay, that's nowhere near as bad. I mean, that is still annoying, but like it's very, very much better than like what it could have been, especially with no burn. Okay. So now the Hydreigon. I do have to watch about Scarf Hydreigon in the end game, I guess. Do I have to Sucker? I guess I could Kowtow and read a switch, or I could sucker the Tyranitar. Sucker Tyranitar seems pretty decent here. Like, I'm pretty sure if you're running the Heat Wave version of this build, you're probably Scarf. I'm gonna Sucker Punch Wave Crash. Okay, they say I'm with Hydra, which is fine. I wanted to cover Incin because I was like thinking maybe Sucker into Wave Crash could guarantee the KO onto Incin, but this is fine still. I don't need Gambit for too much anymore, and I should get a decent Wave Crash off into the Tyranitar. I'm going to take a lot of recoil, though. Yeah, so I get rid of Tyranitar. The Hydreigon's going down to one more sand turn, so it might be forced to switch to following. Okay. Yeah, that's a lot of recoil. Granted, the Hydreigon's not really threatening much right now, so I can just focus down on the other slot. I guess I go out into Rotom here. For them to click Rock Slide, though. Should I go Sceptile or should I go Rotom? I guess Sceptile doesn't really help too much with anything other than Excadrill. I guess I go into Sceptile. Because I don't think they're going Corv here. Yeah, they're going Excadrill, so that works out beautifully for me. I think this is gonna. This might come down to rate of does Hydreigon switch out or attack. Because if they attack with Heat Wave, Iron Head, I do. Actually, they're never gonna Heat Wave Iron Head, the Sceptile. They're always gonna go for something else, I'm pretty sure. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna just Energy Ball and Aqua Jets the Excadrill. Okay, they stay in, which is fine. Like, I'm pretty sure, like, they have to, like, Earthquake Heat Wave, which is fine, because I live with Sceptile, I'm pretty sure. And if they Rock Slide, if I get the KO here, I'm set. Okay, nice. We get the Life Orb Aqua Jet into Excadrill. Perfect. I think Rotom beats whatever is the final Pokemon, but we'll see. I'm sorry, what? I'm sorry, what? What's the last? The last is going to be really impactful now. I've not seen X-Scissor Excadrill. What do you run X-Scissor for? What do you run X-Scissor for? What does Bug hit in this format? There's no way you have Protect if you have X-Scissor. I refuse to believe. What has X-Scissor in this form? Oh, it's Mimikyu. Wait, shoot. I think I lose. X-Scissor. Out of any move. I gotta hope I get the Aqua Jet off into Exca. Yeah, they're faster if Shadow Sneak. You can't be serious. Who runs X-Scissor Excadrill? What do you run that for? Someone tell me what you run that for. I need to know, man. Oh my goodness. Like, what do you hit with X-Scissor? Like, you lose out on one of your coverage options, whether it's Rock Slide for Charizard, Iron Head for the Fairies, Ground type move. Do you not Protect? But even then, why run it over Protect? Alright, we have Charizard, Basculegion, a Garchomp, a Whimsicott, the Golden Go, and a King Gambit. Tailwind on Tailwind. How am I approaching this one? I think I always like the lead of Aerodactyl King Gambit because King Gambit puts on a lot of pressure against a lot of their team other than Garchomp and the Charizard. But I really do like the combination of Sceptile plus Rotom-H in the back. It seems really good against this team once it's set up, and as long as I can match speed control, I should be good here. Like, if I match the Tailwind, I feel like I'm pretty good against this. So I'm going to lead Aerodactyl King Gambit and have Sceptile Rotom-H in the back because Sceptile Rotom-H should be in a really good spot if I can bring Whimsicott down to Focus Sash, if I can get like some pretty decent start damage-wise into my opponent. So let's see what my opponent's going to go with lead-wise. All I really need is that Whimsicott Sash broken. That's going to be a big part. Ideally in range of my attack of the Discharge. We're going to see Garchomp plus the Whimsicott here. Okay. So I don't think this is too bad. There are a few places I can go for. Of course, I can go for Tailwind plus Iron Head immediately, which I think is my best play. And I think I am going to go for Tailwind plus Iron Head. I could go for a dual Wing Beat, but if I don't get speed control, I'm in a really rough spot. So I think this is probably my best option here. I'm going to go for Iron Head into the Whimsicott, and I am going to go for Tailwind. So they're going to go for Tailwind. Is this going to be Tailwind Stomping? Tailwind Rock Slide? Tailwind Rock Slide. So I'm going to have to fight through flinches, unfortunately. Okay. Ideally, as long as Arrow gets through, I should be in a good spot, but let's find out. Nice. We get the Tailwind off. Nice. Really good turn. Okay, beautiful. I am able to get a Iron Head off into the Whimsicott there. So pretty good start. Now I have a few different options that I can go for here. I kind of like the idea of swapping out Arrow to make sure that I'm not positioned where they can Encore Lock me. I think Rotom's a pretty good play here. The question is, what should I do with Gambit? Do I go for the KO into the Whimsicott, or do I just target down to Garchomp and get some damage into it? I think getting some damage into Garchomp isn't too bad, so I think I'm going to go for the Garchomp. I don't know if they're going to Encore. They could also protect Earthquake to get damage into Gambit, which I think makes a lot of sense. So it's why I'm going into Rotom-H here. They do Encore, so I could have targeted the Whimsicott, but that's all right here, as we do get an Earthquake. So they're going to knock out their own Whimsicott, so this is actually best case scenario. I am able to get more damage into the Garchomp this way, and that is pretty solid for me. So Whimsicott goes down. They can no longer have Tailwind in the game, so that's really great for me. And let's see how much I'm doing to this Garchomp here with the Kowtow Cleave. A solid amount of damage. Solid amount. Okay. Citrus Berry on the Chomp. That's fine. Who is going to be coming out next? If it's Charizard, I can threaten Sucker Punch into Volt Switch. If it's... I mean, it's Charizard. I think my best play here is just to Sucker Punch to Charizard. And probably go back into Aerodactyl here. The reason I'm going to go Aero is because if Aero survives the turn, I'm in a really good spot. And I can click Rock Slide and get in probably my... I can probably get in my Sceptile, which is in a good spot. And if I get the Sucker Punch off into Charizard, it puts it in range of Discharge, I believe. So they're going to protect. I don't know if this is Earthquake or if they're going to target the Rotom. Ideally, they target down the King Gambit, so I can go for Rock Slide, Dragon Pulse the next turn. But they go for Rock Slide instead. So I do lose Arrow, but I don't think this is too bad of a spot either way. Yeah, I don't think this is too bad of a spot either way. Because now I can bring in my... Well, they crit my Gambit, which is funny. Okay. It's always Sceptile here. The question is, am I attacking or am I protecting? Garchomp could protect, so this could make it very interesting. I think I just protect my Sceptile and I go for a Sucker Punch into the Charizard still. I think they probably protect Chomp, click Heat Wave here. There's quite a few things that could go wrong here, I suppose. But my best play is to try and hope that I can put them into range of Discharge from Rotom. So I'm going to go for Sucker Punch plus get in my Rotom-H and then Discharge Dragon Pulse. I still think that's my best line that I do have here. We do see the Mega Evolution on Charizard. I could go for Sucker Punch Dragon Pulse, but that opens up my Sceptile game vulnerable to the Garchomp. But also, like, I don't even think that KOs the Zard realistically. So that's why I'm going for this line here. We're going to protect the Sceptile. Sucker Punch comes out into the Charizard. Yeah, that's in Discharge range 100%. They go for Rock Slide. Ideally, you hit the Gambit. I actually need you to hit... Okay, just hit Heat Wave. Hit Heat Wave. I guess this is fine even if you miss because I Sucker Punch Dragon Pulse anyway. But I would prefer to just get in the... I just prefer to get into Rotom and start clicking Dragon Pulse, because that makes my life so much easier. But who knows. Tailwind Peter's out for both sides. I just go for Discharge into Dragon Pulse, which is super safe. I'm trying to think if there's like anything that my opponent can do. I mean, there's going to be multiple protects involved, but there's not much I can do to stop that, right? I go for Dragon Pulse, I go for Discharge. And it's just going to come down to Final Mon and how this plays out. Okay, Garchomp retreats, so somebody's taking Discharge plus Dragon Pulse damage. It's going to be the King Gambit, which I don't mind here. So they actually protect Zard. I think that guaranteed loses them the game because now I can go for Discharge. Like, I'm stacking up the Discharge boost. Plus, like, the Gambit just got weakened heavily. Like, I think they probably need... Maybe their Garchomp doesn't have Protect. If the Garchomp doesn't have Protect, this play makes sense. Because they can't let Garchomp go down. Because otherwise, then I just solo the King Gambit afterward. So I guess this makes sense. But look at all that damage. I don't think the crit really matters here. I think I would still win regardless. I think now I just go for a Dragon Pulse into the King Gambit and I Discharge here. Because, like... I live Sucker Punch, even if it's Black Glasses. I just don't live if they crit me. But, like, I'm going to have to dodge a crit regardless because eventually I have to attack against the Garchomp with the Sceptile. So I think I just go for Discharge. You might say, why don't you just Protect and go for Discharge here? It's because, like, the Gambit looks like it lives Discharge anyway, so I don't think it changes any calcs here. So I'm just going to double up the Gambit. They are going to go into the Garchomp, as we do see the Discharge comes out into the Gambit. Are they Scarf on the Garchomp? I guess no, right? No, they clicked Earthquake turn 2. And yeah, I go for the Dragon Pulse in the Gambit, so they never get more than two. They never get more than one Sucker Punch off. If they protect the Gambit, maybe, but I wasn't 100% if they would protect Gambits that turn, and I could still like Dragon Pulse plus Discharge. I guess maybe I could double up the Charizard, but I was worried if they went for a double protect, so it could have been a call otherwise. But now I should be safe because I'm pretty sure we saw the Garchomp click. Yeah, the Garchomp clicked Earthquake and never switched out. So I always just Discharge Dragon Pulse here, and that will be able to win the game because Sceptile Rotom-H will be too good to clean up this end game. Discharge 100% knocks out the Charizard at this range, and Dragon Pulse will knock out the Chomp. Wait, the Garchomp did have Protect. Okay. They let the Gambit take a lot of damage. It could have been really interesting if they kept the Gambit around because it could have come down to like some mind games with Sucker, but now I KO the Charizard guarantee. The Garchomp is going to faint to Dragon Pulse, so beautiful. Okay, I'll take that. Like, I would gladly take that. Sceptile Rotom-H showcasing why it can be like super overwhelming if they don't have any speed advantage because as you can see, a lot of their mons were just hit super effectively thanks to the Sceptile getting Earth Power especially. They didn't bring the Steel types. And this Sceptile is like, what, +5 now? +4 maybe? Either way, we are 100% knocking out the Garchomp with Dragon Pulse. There's like no way the Garchomp is surviving here. So we will get another boost for the road here as we do get a Dragon Pulse, and this will finish off the Garchomp. So beautiful. We do take the knockout into Garchomp and seal the win. I think again, if it was Gambit and they protected Chomp on that one turn, it could have been spooky because they could have went for like double protect with the Chomp, and then it's like maybe some Sucker Punch mind games, which could have been really weird. But yeah. All right, we're gonna see the Annihilate Metagross Mousehold with the Dragapult, Archaludon, and Sinistra. Definitely an interesting bring. Luckily, Sceptile is faster than Pult, which is actually really good for me. This matchup seems okay, but I gotta be a little bit cautious. I do really love my Rotom-H here. Rotom-H is fantastic. I think Sceptile is also really good. I don't know if they can really bring Mouseape. I think they have to bring Metagross. Metagross is their only Mega Evolution. So they have like Redirection with Mousehold, probably Protect with like Sinish, with the Annihilate going for bulk up here. They could go for some coaching strat, I suppose, but coaching Annihilate is not really that much of a concern. I guess if it's Scarf Ice Punch Annihilate, that's the only set I'm like actually fearful of. But I do have like really good plays otherwise. I think I think Basque Last Respect is just really good against this team. The question is, am I bring Aerodactyl or am I bring Clef? I think I bring Aerodactyl. Speed-wise is pretty good. Clef is a little bit better against the team in general, but I think enabling the Basque is probably more useful, as I am always threatened by like Steel moves from the Archaludon as well as the Metagross. I don't think I live Iron Head from Mega Metagross, so I do think I just bring the Aerodactyl for speed advantage here. Let's see. I'm only worried about Scarf Ice Punch Annihilate. If it's Scarf Ice Punch Annihilate, the game is really tough. Like, it's really tough. If it's not Scarf Ice Punch, I feel I'm in a pretty good spot. Let's see. Dragapult Metagross. Okay, that makes sense. I mean, they're in a really tricky spot. My play, turn 1, might seem weird here, but I'm going to overheat the Metagross, and I'm going to stay in regular form with Sceptile and just draw off a Dragon Pulse. Yes. The reason I'm going to do this is so I'm not weak to like a Draco Meteor if the Pult goes for it. I threaten to overheat a Metagross. Okay, they Mega Evolve immediately. Good. So I should threaten the KO with Overheat, I imagine, into the Metagross. So I'm not going for Discharge Lock immediately, but getting the KO on Metagross is pretty good. Nice. I do get the Overheat off into the Metagross. Beautiful knockout, so that's a great KO. If they do have like back Mousehold plus Annihilate, but still a lot weaker because we did take a knockout, so they'd have less hits of beat up. And we are going to see Light Screen come out from the Dragapult. Okay, interesting. I think with Dragon Pulse into Mega Evolve, Dragon Pulse should be good here. And again, the reason I didn't Mega Evolve was because I didn't want the weakness to Dragon if they fired off a Draco Meteor, and I was concerned if there was Scarf, so that's why I decided to go for it. Let's see who's being brought out. Archaludon. Okay. I think this is fine still. Yeah, this is still fine. I'm going to bring out my Aerodactyl, I think. And I'm gonna Mega Evolve Dragon Pulse the Dragapult now, because I'm willing to lose Sceptile if I get rid of Dragapult and isolate it down to the last two Pokemon, because I think Basculegion could probably win this game if I set this up correctly. As long as I don't give it any boost to the Archaudon, I should be good. And I want to deny Reflect from the Dragapult, because I think the only way I lose this if it gets a Reflect up. Because if they get Reflect, then my Basculegion can't one-shot the Archaudon with Last Respect. So that's why I'm going for this line. Okay. So we do get to the Dragon Pulse off. Goodbye, Dragapult. Dragapult goes down. Did they Dragon Pulse my Sceptile or did they target a Rotom? I wouldn't be surprised if they target Sceptile with Dragon Pulse. Yeah, they did. Okay, that's fine. As I said before, completely as anticipated. The last Mon could be a little bit questionable. Actually, they forfeit. I think they realize that I have Basculegion back and decide, hey, it's probably unlikely that they are able to win, because I just go into Basculegion, I click Last Respect against Sinistra, I think, and I Tailwind, and yeah, they can't win. So how was the team? Mega Sceptile is really good, actually. Like, I was actually impressed by how well the combination was performing. Like, it's a bit more gimmicky than some of the others because you do have to have that discharge setup with Sceptile, and then even with the timid nature, like maybe that +1 might not be able to pick up some knockouts. But I think if you set it up correctly, it's actually really threatening, and Mega Sceptile is really strong. Unfortunately, the Lightning Rod isn't as useful in the format because there aren't too many electric type moves other than the Raichus, which players have been experimenting with. But otherwise, you really don't get it too much with the Lightning Rod usage. However, Earth Power is just so solid. We've seen it with Mega Venusaur. The coverage of Energy Ball, Dragon Pulse, and Earth Power is just so effective against a lot of the top tier threats. Being able to outspeed Garchomp naturally, just threaten like Choice Scarf Basculegions. Like, it is such an effective mon just because of its speed tier and the way it hits hard. It's really powerful. So I think it's a really decent mon in this format, and actually might be one of the upper Mega Evolutions that we have received so far. If you'd like to check out the details of the team, you can check it out with the replica code on your screen. If you would like to check it out with details wise, you can check it out down below in the description. And of course, subscribe to the channel for more VGC content as always.